Well, AMC is down on its luck today, down 6.73% at the time of recording this video. We do still have a little bit of time towards the end of the day. All of this information is still very applicable as we're going to be going over some broad market concepts and why I think this is the dip before the rip. But the price could move around a little bit by the time you guys do see this video. We have some very important key things to get into here today, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's get into it. Hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel as well. So AMC is sitting at a very important level, right above our $28 support level. We are also seeing this reflected in the MACD, even though we're down 6.5% today or more. A little bit more than that. The MACD is still incredibly bullish. That is because the velocity of these moves that we are seeing have been much greater to the upside than what we're seeing today to the downside. It has really taken a long time with low volume to get down to where we are currently at, down 6.5%. The volume is less than 30 million at the time of this recording, and we're down 6%. This is telling you that you don't see a lot of people selling their stock. If you've seen people selling their stock, the volume would be much higher. The downside, we would still be down about 6%, but there would be much more volume. This is showing you that people are holding onto their stock and that there's a lot of shorting or external selling power that is coming into the marketplace, not apes selling out of their positions. So the short interest is definitely increasing as of today. We're not getting that reported in the Ortex data, which is very, very interesting, but it goes without saying there's a lot of manipulation with the stock. There's a lot of loopholes these hedge funds are doing to not report all the shorting that they are doing on a daily basis almost. So as far as the technicals are concerned, watch the 200-day moving average and the $35 price for your next levels of resistance, the $28 level for support, like I said, and then the $26.50 level for support under that. I do expect a bounce tomorrow, but again, anything is possible. But what I want to point out, which is just very key with this whole thing, is the MACD is still bullish. The last time we were this bullish on the MACD was, back here in mid-November. Last time we were bullish at all on the MACD was November 22nd. So this is telling you guys a lot. And trading algorithms, they're going to start buying the stock. I think you're going to see a secular rotation out of a lot of these large cap stocks where money has been piling into as somewhat a rush to safety into these small and mid cap stocks with extremely high short interest that can give hedge funds a higher rate of return. There is a law called the law of diminishing returns. It's basically saying if you're invested in large companies, you're probably expected to see lower returns than going out for an extreme example, like a penny stock will go up much more in value, or a small cap or mid cap stock will go up much more in value than your Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, all these stocks the money has been piling into. At the same time, to hedge for the downside, this is something me, Kevin, has talked about, but I have talked about many, many times here on this channel, is that the hedge funds, to hedge for the downside, they're actually shorting a lot of these mid cap stocks. That's why the IWM has a short interest of over 52%. AMC well over 20% as far as the legal provable short interest that we can prove. Corsair Gaming, something I've talked about many times here on this channel, a 32.1% short interest of free float. The exchange reported short interest came in at 33% with 10.64 days to cover. I think you're going to see this rotation in general by probably early to mid January. You're going to see hedge funds start to position for the next year, and I think they're going to take a heavy weighted amount of that money and put it into a lot of these beaten down recovery stocks as well. So your cruise lines, your airlines, AMC, even like Corsair as well, they're not really recovery stock, but still they have very high amounts of short interest. They've been getting shorted into the ground. So I think that secular rotation, to sum that up, is coming here in the next couple of weeks. And that's exactly how I've been positioning. I have had calls on Corsair for a couple days now that are up about 50%, and I just initiated some more today for late January as well as February. So I have my personal money on the line when it comes down to this. I don't I think it's even a good time for AMC once we do see the sign of the break above the 200-day moving average to buy a call or two. I don't hold any options in AMC. I don't trade options in AMC unless we can confirm a big rally is coming. Then it makes a lot of sense. And that's just being honest with you guys. And that ultimately helps the movement once the stock is in an upward trajectory. What you don't want to do is be buying calls when the stock is doing nothing, when there's no signs of a bullish reversal. That's really what I've advocated against, is just willy-nilly going out, buying all these calls when you're not helping anything. You're helping the market makers collect all of this liquidity week after week. So that's really the theory, but behind this whole dip before the rip, I think it's going to be secular, and the stocks with the short interest as well as recovery stocks, they're going to be the ones that really do benefit the most, and AMC is perfectly aligned in that. Recovery stock, very high short interest. Now, the Ortex estimates for the day, take this with a huge grain of salt, and people are wondering why I say take it with a big grain of salt, because the Ortex estimates, they're only estimates, and the numbers that we're getting today just don't make a whole lot of sense. Return shares of 2.62 million, borrowed shares 856.9 thousand, a borrowed change of negative 1.77 million. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Short interest at 18.89% relative to the low volume that we are seeing. Not even 30 million shares that have traded hands. That's a sizable amount of the overall volume that is supposedly returned today or covered today. Mathematically, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but we'll get a better picture of where the bare minimum short interest actually is once the exchange reported short interest does come out here in about a week or so. Now, the share utilization is 79.24%, whereas the days to cover is 2.35 days to cover, ticking down a little bit today. Once this does actually update by tomorrow, I think it will tick back up quite substantially as the volume is low today. As far as the Sanko tracker data, nothing too crazy. We'll go ahead and refresh this. Nothing too crazy. Not a lot of puts that are in the money, so you're not seeing a lot of shorting power coming from that end. Not very many calls that are in the money as well, so you're not seeing buying power from that side as well. But the calls with a lot of open interest are just right out of the money, specifically at the $30, $35, and the $40 strikes. So if we do see a big move to the upside, not saying we're going to go to 40, but if we break out past 30 or even approach $35 per share tomorrow, anything's possible with AMC. Keep that in mind. You will see a boost to obviously the market makers and how many shares they have to buy on the open market. But the most important thing is obviously going to be January 21st, 2022, and it's good to start looking ahead at this beforehand, because we have been calling out the volatility as well as a lot of other channels in between December and January because of the increased option activity, and that's exactly by definition what we have been seeing. But we do have 433,000 calls that are out of the money for that January expiration, as well as 116,000 calls that are in the money. I personally think AMC is going to be $60 or more by this time period because of the secular rotation that's going to happen. As well as that, if you take a look at the actual option chain of AMC for January, you'll see that at the $40 strike, you have about 56,000 for open interest. That's 5.6 million shares that will have to be fully hedged for if AMC is over $40 once we get close to January. So all in all, makes a lot of sense to see a big rally. Makes a lot of sense to be making these claims of this is essentially the dip before the rip. Hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. If we're taking a look at the max pain, we could see the max pain for tomorrow, the last day of trading, is $29 per share. That's pretty much where we're at right now. I don't hold a ton of weight on this just because it's not always the most accurate representation of what's going to happen. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. That's just like the reverse beta. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. As far as next Friday, the max pain is $30 per share, so that's good to see. But if you take it out to January 21st, 2022, the max pain is $22 per share, and I think there is no way we're going down to $22 per share by then, unless something crazy happens. Omicron starts to get a lot worse. Who knows? Anything can happen, but I just don't see $22 per share by January 21st, 2022. So take that information however you guys want, do whatever you guys want to do with it. As far as the Fintel data, we're not seeing anything that is giving us an insight into hedge funds or institutions that are actually selling out of their AMC positions. Not seeing that whatsoever. If anything, we're seeing them adding to their positions throughout the whole entire month of December, and that's really when we started to see massive movements to the downside. Well, I should say late November, mid December. That's where we really were seeing the major downturn in AMC. Not seeing any firms reporting that they have sold. So that's definitely a good thing as well. And finally, the Adam Aaron tweet 7 hours ago. He's saying, in contrast to 2020 and 2021, Spider-Man continues to drive robust attendance. The domestic industry box office, US and Canada totals, was 40.9 million on Monday, December 20th. Before Spider-Man, it was only 3.5 million on Monday and Monday, December 13th, and 4 million on Monday, December 6th. So this is telling you guys, people are showing up for Spider-Man. They want to see high quality films that they're very excited about. And that's exactly, what we're seeing. And we do have the Matrix film coming out today in theaters. We should get the first day's totals tomorrow. And if those are good as well, we should see a big boost to AMC's share price. That should be seen as very positive. A lot of people thought, or basically just assumed, AMC going up 20% a couple days ago was due to the Spider-Man movie. I'm not convinced it was just Spider-Man, but if that same logic is still in play, Matrix numbers should boost the stock up quite a lot as well. But we do have a strong roster of movies next year. Multiple blockbuster movies that are expected to come out. Avatar 2, which, keep in mind, Avatar is the top grossing movie of all time. That's going to drive a lot of people into theaters. That one alone. Another Spider-Man movie, I believe a Harry Potter movie, just tons of movies as they have been backlogged because of 2020. So this is the time, in my personal opinion, to be invested in AMC, and I am not going anywhere. We are just getting started. The party is finally almost here. So this is why this is the dip before the rip. Hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think about this information? What do you guys think about the Max Payne by January at $22 per share? Do you think we're going to go down by January, or do you think we're going to go up? What do you think about Max Payne in general? What do you think about anything said in this video? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why do you disagree? Let me know your take on this information. Your opinion is very valuable. Check out the links down below in the description of this video as well for Public, the sponsor of this video. And quite frankly, the best brokerage to buy your AMC stock on. Yeah, I said it. They're the best brokerage to buy your stock on. They do not use payment for order flow whatsoever. But also check out the pinned comment down below. Link for the buy and sell alerts, as well as the link to go follow me over on Twitter. So love and appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.